as we get set for heat 4 of round 4, and it's a good one. You've got a couple of the best Bell surfers, you'd have to say, of all time. Even though Jordy doesn't have that #1 win, the big trophy, he's already considered one of the finest on the Bell's Bowl. Wiggly, he's breaking through for one of his better results in recent times. This should be a classic matchup.
Well, let's take a look at Joel Parkinson. And again, he loves those quick starts, and he loves the Bell's Bowl because he has that type of surfing where he carries a ton of speed and he holds it all the way through every maneuver. Again, he's got so much experience here, knows which waves he wants to ride. So fortunate with what the conditions have been able to hold here. Bell's is awesome. I mean, even with onshore, it is so shreddable. Again, look at this inside section for Joel. All the way through and carries a ton of speed. Great start for the man in blue.
He's looked good this event, hasn't he?
Relaxed.
In fact, he's looked good throughout 2017 so far. Definitely.
Totally agree.
Surfing with a lot of intent. Seems to be laying that rail really deep.
Super engaged.
A throwback to his world title run.
You know, in every heat, sometimes you can see, sometimes the surfer will get, you know, not as intense and engaged in every heat, but every single wave, he's on it.
7.33 on his first wave. Trying to find the open face here, but he'll pull into the barrel for a moment, get some cover. Doesn't get a clean exit, bit of a dirty exit there, but he could make up for it here on the inside. There's that extra little push on that tail we've been talking about throughout this season, and a wild old float to finish, but didn't quite stick it. A piglet when it comes to the tube. 28.5 minutes remaining. Let's have a replay of this last ride.
Take a look at this one again from the outside. Somehow, click. Oh, there it is. Would have been nice if you'd been able to kind of get up and out of it. But again, just so fun to watch this kid surf. Then here, this is the only error. Up, float, got off balance as well. Kid, yeah. Yeah, he's a Grom. He's younger than me.
17th year on the championship tour. 3 Bells titles. 36 years of age. Celebrated his birthday just the other day.
So true. You know, and it's just a tribute to how talented the surfing world is becoming. There's just a solid group. Guys coming up as well as veterans.
Here goes Jordy Smith. The South African drives up into that first section. Beautiful flow he's had throughout this event so far. And just takes this wave apart with a variety of maneuvers and plenty of style. Just flowing through these fatter sections so well. Looking for a connection through to the inside. And he'll get there. A lot of work just to get to this point. And he finishes with a little float on the inside there. So worked hard for the completion and got it.
He just had a, you know, when you can put everything on the line on a maneuver and come out with speed, it feels so good.
Here we go, Wiggly. Let's see what he can do. Just a smooth slice to get started. Nothing major just yet. Not a lot of points in those first 2 moves, but he can make up for it here with something super explosive. Here comes that nice steep wall, and Wiggly just whips his board vertically, but he doesn't really like it. He kicks out of it, doesn't commit. Joel Parkinson just S-turning his way through to the inside. Loading up that speed once again for this section. Digs in, puts those fins on show for us. 21 minutes remaining, and Joel should be getting rid of that 4.17.
Best roundhouse cutback in the business. So much speed carrying. When you reverse complete directions like that, it is so hard to keep your speed. And he does such a great job. And I really love how you see his feet shift. You know, as this cutback, you kind of keep your feet up above the pad. You can see it's just a shift of it as he returns back. But then this move here where he gets the steeper section, you'll see just a slight shift, and he moves his feet around on his boards more than anybody. Right there, puts that back foot back on the pad as far as it'll go, right up against the little kick in the grip. You can even see he'll shift. I mean, he's got the best footwork. And then let's watch Jordy here. And this little two-turn combo there. Again, that transition's good because he's in the lip. That turn, beautiful. And then this one where he just lays through it. Rawr. So good, so mean, like an animal. Again, he has to work really hard to get through this inside section. Just the float for the finish. But like I said, it's worth more than it feels by just finishing. So, he's not going to leave any scoring potential out of there. I'd say probably a quarter point for that. But, in a .25, see that connection with the lip on the outside section can mean a lot at the end of a heat.
Well, it's a smaller ride than what we've seen Joel Parkinson on, but much like the heat with John Florence earlier on, Jordy ripped this wave apart. I think this had the best surfing on it, this wave.
Yeah.
So we'll see what the judges think.
This turn here, he changes the angle for the layback. He goes more vertical, so the turn is tighter in that first section. The second section here, you see where his angle went more about 1030, and then lays into it because he's out more in the face. And that's what Jordy does. He's so good at that because he can take that section. It's not going to be super hypercritical, but since he holds his rail and the amount of speed he carries through it, he almost again accelerates out of it. And again, when you start looking at volumes and stuff, they're all around 29 liters, 28.6 for the smaller ones. His biggest boards are at 29.2 liters.
17 minutes to go here. And Joel Parkinson still out in front. His last wave of 7.17. Jordy can get the lead, though, with a 6.9. Here he goes into this first section. Solid hit. The wave steepens up once again. Jordy whips it, but maintains that down the line flow so he can come flying into this section. Wave flattened out a little on him. Grabs that rail and reefs it back to set up this hit. And he's going to try and throw it up there once again, but just comes up under the falling lip there.
Little roundhouse kick from Bells.
Really carved out his own approach. I think he's got more power than Joel. Joel sort of has that really smooth, like drawn out line. Jordy sort of rips through his turns a little more, as we see Wiggly there throwing everything at that first section, unsuccessful. And he's a little bit behind in this heat now because Jordy's about to drop a decent score. He needs a 6.9 to take the lead. Do you reckon he'll get it?
Yes. And I think this wave's actually going to be better than his first. And just taking a look at the template of his tail of his board when he got on the ski, he has that rounded pin. You can see it there, but it's really pulled in right off that tail block. You see the narrower the tail is, the more positive that board's going to feel. It's not going to want to skip out. It's going to want to roll rail to rail super nicely. But again, as loose as that board's going to feel, that pulled in tail keeps it grippy. See, he's so quiet in his upper body. It just smooths out everything. And again, even that slight little adjustment with the hand is just to keep him right on flow. Just the fall at the end of it, I still feel like this is going to be better than his 7.6.
Well, those numbers starting to roll through now, and they do look pretty good. So Jordy Smith, a good chance at taking the lead here.
I agree. Now, a good team around him. Chris Gallagher, full-time. Their relationship has blossomed.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It is.
Here we go. Wiggly up with just under 13 minutes remaining. Wiggly still looking for something better than a 3.33. He wants to break that combination. Medium-sized set wave. And this is where Wiggly can really add some points, but he has to make an adjustment there. That section kind of flattened out on him. Let's see, the float, the finish, sticks it. That'll be his best wave, just on 12.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, I just think his wave judgment so far just have been a little off. You saw that bigger set wave moved off the reef. This one had kind of a weird look to it too, considering what we've seen from Jordy and Joel. So it's sometimes when you get in a weird rhythm with that priority and you feel like you need to take the waves because you're in that rhythm, it's your turn.
More capable of taking apart a big set wave here at Bells Beach.
Oh, right on top of Jordy.
Just jinxed Joel completely then, didn't I? Just under 11 minutes to go, and Joel goes down on the takeoff there.
Well, yeah, you know, you kind of see him coming from far away, but you're not sure. And then, well, you come up and you see Joel falling out of the sky, and you're trying to watch the action, and then you realize you're kind of in a bad spot, so you got to paddle over. I thought the elbow was a little sore, so I wasn't just bailed the board, took it on the head.
Oh, we got it on view.
But
Perfect.
I did get to open my eyes up and dodge the swirl, so it
Good job, Strider.
did not get pounded. It was not. He had to go back down, and I watched him kind of puff up the cheeks and get that like face on where he was just like, all right, let's do it. And he, you know, riding out of all of his maneuvers, you can see there's a lot more going on than just the bottom turn to the top turn. You know, usually when you're done with that top turn, you're done with your maneuver. But out here, you still have to go with the ride down, right? You're coming down with the lip, you're coming down with the falling lip or the water or the white water, and on that inside, especially for that closeout turn. So there's definitely a lot more than the off the bottom, off the top combo out here. You got to make it back to the bottom.
Thank you, Strider. Wearing sets on the head.
For your entertainment at home.
For your entertainment, just to give you the lowdown what it's like out there. Jordy Smith, though, on the replay, Pete.
It's not chilly, but it's certainly not 26 degrees, which is forecast. So it's like that hot and cold from the ocean is why you have this fog.
As we see Joel up and looking motivated. Really dug into that first turn. Needs some more room to move here, though, to jack this score right up into the excellent range. He needs a 7.97, but gets caught up in the lip here. 6.5 minutes to go. He's got time. Thinking about Mick Fanning, Joel Parkinson, Jordy Smith, and their chances for a world title this year, you'd think that making a couple more heats here at Bells is critical, because they kind of missed that opportunity on the Gold Coast.
Yep.
All three of them.
Take a look at this one. For Joel, not a bigger set weight, but he knew that it was going to give him this outside opportunity. Beautiful, smooth style. I mean, every time you talk about Joel, you can't help but describe it as smooth. His transitions between maneuvers. And you see that there's a bit of current that'll pull out. You've got a beach, all this water that pushes in, and it's got to push out some way. So that's what happened there, as the water was kind of shifting out, a little backwash.
His last wave, a 5.33. So he's looking for a 9.97 out of this ride. Nice, elongated bottom turn. Again, wave selection seems to be the enemy for Wiggly at the moment. There has been some nice waves reeling off through the inside, though. Some lucky connections. That's what Wiggly's really praying for here at the moment. This one just a little tricky to surf. There's that Wiggly Dantas trademark hit that we've been looking for. Might have been just a little too few and far between, though, to get a big score there.
I was just going to touch on that. You know, the outside section, again, just kind of going through the motions, but a lot of that kind of unfolded. Winky, not the easiest way for your backhand. Let's take a look here. So second priority was with Wiggly. So Jordy said, nah, I'm not going to take this one. And I think a lot of it was that it didn't feel like it was going to have those outside maneuvers, which I think is critical, and that's why Jordy made the choice. But this wave did load up through the inside section. You know, and it was had some scoring potential there, but it really didn't really get super steep until here. You know, and that's right on the shore. Beautiful finish, though. And it is his best wave. Sometimes
too, but yeah, he gets a 6.2. So Wiggly now looking for a 9.1. So chipping away at Jordy Smith's lead here. Joel Parkinson still chasing a 7.97. Jordy's trying to better a 7.6. Having a look here, Jordy. Let's see if he can throw a little bit more at it. Just a set-up turn. Floats down the line. Getting caught behind here, and he gets out of there. Yeah, but just looking back at Wiggly's wave, Pete.
Yep.
Sometimes if there hasn't been a set for a while and you get a medium-sized set, the wind has sort of taken a bit of an effect on the lineup.
You know, I'm sure that those guys are looking at the decision too.
Well, we might have had an official protest. We'll find out more about that a little later on. Right now, we're watching Joel Parkinson trying to snatch the lead from Jordy Smith. He needs a 7.97 here. There's that beautiful, smooth style but he needs some big high impact turns as well. He might have the section here. Smashes that oncoming section. 7.97. That's what he's after.
Very similar to what we saw from Jordy Smith. So quiet in his upper body. You know, this is such great technique, and to be able to keep that smooth and easy approach through a really challenging bumpy wave. This one here, don't know if it's coming after, but he likes it. I guess maybe he did stand up before, so there must be some maneuvers on the outside. So 2 waves, it looks like, going to come in here in this last few seconds of the heat.
Well, Wiggly needs a jumbo score, a 9.1.
A jumbo.
Yep.
Jumbo excellent.
Well, we haven't really seen Wiggly do any excellent surfing in this heat just yet. Not an individual turn, but he's got a better looking wave here.
Oh, and there's just a little stumble there, but he kept it together. And he would have liked the feel of those 2 maneuvers on the outside. Again, that's that hook he has with all the... This is a much better wave. Second wave of the set, we saw Joel in the first one. Well served. That's going to be his best wave for sure. I don't know if it quite goes into the score he's going to need of a 9.1, but Joel's wave, I think that's the one we have to look at.
Waiting on numbers for Parkinson and for Wiggly. A great heat. 3 of the most stylish surfers on tour. Here's the replay of Joel's.
And again, outside carve, so quiet, great technique. That hook there is beautiful. Next turn here, again, this, you know, let him down slightly in this midsection. Didn't have that whole steeper inside and then redirect off the foam. Well served, but I feel like it's just slightly under.
Well, the numbers starting to roll through now. And he really laid into them, so definitely it was a better ride for Smith. And the numbers just dropped for Wiggly Dantas. It was the highest scoring ride of that heat. An 8.5, a good score, but not enough. He needed a 9.1, but it does get him to second place, and that makes things interesting.